Welcome back to the Schwarzkopf Professional YouTube channel. My name is Ian, and today I want to show you a color technique that is so simple to do behind the chair in salon every day that creates a lot of impact on a lot of different haircuts, but I like this one specifically for a bob. Now, tell me this isn't perfect. Her name is Sol, and the technique that I'm going to show you is called a sunburst pattern. For those that don't speak Spanish, Sol means sun. So I was like, this is perfect. I have to do this, absolutely. The idea for this is that we're going to transform Sol from her level 7 blonde into a beautiful kind of shimmery golden copper moment. I'm basically going to be putting in about maybe 5 to 7 foils on either side of Sol's center part. I like this placement because I have a bob shape here. It isn't a haircut that requires a ton of contrast, unless that's what you're looking for, but I really want to play on the shape of a bob haircut. What I enjoy most about this color placement, well, is one, that it's very easy to do, but two, a lot of the dimension that you're going to see falls inside of the shape of this bob haircut. So when Sol wears her hair down, you'll still be able to see some movement, but if she's going out like on a Friday night or something and decides to throw a few waves in it, you'll be able to see even more of that dimension throughout. Now, to achieve this beautiful kind of sunbursty, coppery moment that we're going to be doing today, I chose to use our IGORA Royal permanent hair color. I chose IGORA Royal because I need the pigment weight and the strength to shift us out of this natural level 7 blonde into that chocolatey kind of lived-in copper color with golden ribbons throughout. Now, I did choose a few different formulas to create high dimension, but without creating a lot of high contrast. Let's get started. I'm going to start putting the foils in on the left side of Sol's haircut. I always love a face framing highlight. I'm going to follow basically the angle of her face, which also brings me to this imaginary point out here. Remember, we're kind of doing a sunburst technique. My first foil placement, I'm going to be taking about 3-4 centimeters of hair off of the hairline, and this will be my first foil placement. To keep things dimensional, I'm going to weave on Sol's hairline, whereas the rest of my foils are going to be very thin slices. I don't, again, want a lot of contrast right on the face. I chose something a little different for Sol's highlight. She's got natural level 7 virgin hair. I don't know about you, but that's very hard to come by. When I have that opportunity, I like to go in and see, can I highlight with a high lift instead of a lightener? And today I can. So I'm going to be using our IGORA Royal 12-0. It is a high lift in a neutral. And then I added just a little bit of our 0-55 gold concentrate. I did that because the idea of this entire color placement is a sunburst. We're going to be involving copper, some chocolates. I want to keep things warm. So a high lift, yes, is going to give me the lightness, but I added that gold, making sure that I get a nice gold finish. But don't forget, a high lift is mixed with a 30 or 40 volume. Today, I used 2 parts 30 volume. So that 30 volume is going to shift out the natural warmth from her level 7. And then with the additional gold in the formula, I'm going to get some really nice bright pieces. I'm going to take my next parting from my next foil. Every time you take a parting, just imagine that there's a point out here that I'm angling toward. I take my comb to make my parting from this imaginary point out here, and that's how I know where to take my next section. I'm doing slices for 2 reasons. All of the color and highlighting that I'm doing, again, is inside of this bob haircut. If I did a weave, that color might get lost inside. So in this case, a slice is okay. While they do usually create a lot of contrast, it's okay inside of this. I'm going to continue on putting my foils in, imagining that I have this point that I'm working toward. I'm just simply going to keep putting foils here. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Then I'll start applying our different formulas in between. I'm coming in here doing like my crazy thin slices, all toward that imaginary point here that will give us that sunburst pattern. I'm going to put my foil down, And you can see it's not a very thick slice. You can still see some of the silver foil in between. This is key. I'm going right to the edge of the foil with my Hyghlift formula. Now, got my Hyghlift on the dark hair where it's needed. And then you might have these little blonde leftover highlights from a previous color. Just take a Fiber Clinics mask, treatment, conditioner, something you can put in a bowl and have on your trolley, and just paint that conditioner right over top of the previously highlighted hair. This way I ensure that I'm not getting anything that is high lifting on the previously lightened hair, and then go ahead and fold that up and continue on. I'm coming down to like my last 2 or 3 foils. To swing Soul around, I just want you to see what we're working with. It's essentially a triangle section. The reason I'm not picking out and dropping my highlights outside of the foils today is because I'm going to be applying color everywhere else. All right, as I come to the top of the head, I want to make sure that my slices are really fine. Anything thicker is just going to create contrast, which is going to take away from the beautiful shape of that bob haircut. Now, if you have any of that like dull blonde or hair that's just been lightened by the sun that needs that extra kick, go ahead and throw your Hyghlift color right over top of that, and that will brighten up that dull blonde to give you the best dimension. Now I'm working with 3 different colors to pull through on the mids and ends to create this kind of marigold sunset copper vibe. The first of those colors is a level 9 copper. The second is a level 8 copper copper. Now the third formula is the exact same formula as the regrowth area, except the regrowth is mixed with 10 volume. I did that because I don't want to create any sort of hot roots because I'm getting heat from the scalp naturally. But to get a seamless, even color from root to tip with the same formula, I mixed 10 volume here and then 20 volume on the ends to get a shift where I wouldn't with a 10 volume. So what I'm going to do now is finish putting the base on, which was that chocolate golden copper formula with 10 volume at the regrowth here. Then we're going to start applying our other formulas throughout the head. So remember, I put all of those foils in at an angle to the point that was up here. I want to show you that I started that process of alternating the formulas on this side of the head. Why you're looking at so many foils is just all that hair in between. I put that in a foil, I saturated perfectly, and I just folded it up so that it kept it nice and neat for the camera. I'm going to repeat that exact same process on this side of the head for all of the hair in between these foils, alternating my lightest copper, my medium copper, and then again, don't forget, we have that regrowth formula, but with 20 volume to get that nice shift and lift, but a consistent, even color from root to tip. Now, it's up to you to decide the first foil, the second foil, the fourth foil. How are you alternating your colors from deepest to lightest? I think Soul's got beautiful eyes and beautiful skin, so on this first foil, I'm gonna choose my lightest copper, which is the 9-7 level 9 copper. I like to keep a comb, especially when I'm doing alternating colors, and I'm working with a permanent hair color, which does have a slightly thicker consistency by design. Don't be afraid to comb your base color out just a little bit, put your foil in, and then decide, what's my next color gonna be? I'll tell you my thought process. My first foil was my lightest copper. So to keep things kind of even and consistent, my next hair in between foils is going to be that continuation of my root formula, but on the mids and ends. I want to show you something very simple. I just take my comb and comb the hair once or twice, put that down, and then reapply the exact same color right over top. And this is important because it ensures that I'm not missing any hairs and that I'm getting perfect, deep saturation. Now I'm in that third part, or my third section, the hair that's in between the foils. I'm going to paint my medium level copper. And again, I just put some color on the foil to hold the hair in place, and then I use my comb. Yes, this is the same comb from the last combing through. I'll explain. And I just like to get that hair nice and straight and separated. And then I go over top again for saturation. The idea behind this whole look is like a blend or a melt of colors. If I used my comb on the first section, yeah, I have some light copper on it. And I used my comb on the next section, which was my deeper color. I have that color on here too. And then I used the comb on the next section, which has that color too. Don't worry. The idea for this whole vibe is to kind of marry things together and not have too much contrast. So if I get a little transfer from my previous one to my next section of hair, it's totally okay. All right, so again, this is my lightest copper formula. I'm going in, combing that hair to make sure that I'm separating everything to get good saturation. No worries about folding or anything else. I just want to contain that hair to keep things nice and neat. So now this foil is going to be my medium copper. Fold that up, keeping the hair contained nice and neat. And I'm basically just going to continue this until I run out of hair. I will let Sol develop for the full 35 minutes that this will need left over. We'll rinse, shampoo, do a glaze that I'll explain to you when we bring Sol back for the results. We have finished the application of Sol's color. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. When we pulled the Highlifts foils, they were stunning. But just to add that glimmer or shimmer of gold polish, I mixed our IGORA Vibrance Demi-Permanent Color 0-55, which is a gold concentrate, and I diluted that with our 10-5, which is a level 10 gold toner. I did that because anytime I do a redhead, I love that kind of gold polish or overlay to give an invisible shimmer. So before I blow dry, I wanted to put in a little bit of the Vibrancy Spray Leave-In Conditioner to really lock in that color. Now to layer up some styling products, I really like our Osis hair body. It gives just the most subtle amount of texture and grip to the hair so that I can get a little bit of control when I blow out that bob. And then I'm going to layer on top of that a little bit of our Osis Air Whip, which is a completely flexible mousse. I still want movement in the hair, but I still want a little bit of control. I'm going to get her blow dried and we'll be right back. We are finished with Sol's color. I am so impressed. She has the most beautiful skin tone for this color and the combination of formulas that we did. What a transformation. Her eyes are popping, everything just suits her. If you're interested in learning more about any of our color, care, or styling brands, don't forget to visit us at our e-Academy. And please, subscribe to this YouTube channel for more video tutorials for all things cut and color from Schwarzkopf Professional.